Patrick, have you ever wondered what you could do to prepare for any type of physical confrontation? Like, is there something you could do, some sort of way you could find, so that way, even if you're going up against, like, say, a black belt assassin or just a man asking for change on the side of the road.
Yeah, like a martial art or something like that.
Something, just to know how to handle any situation.
I would love to. Do you have an answer?
I have a movie for you, and it's even better than an answer. Welcome, everybody, to Trash or Trash, a bad movie podcast where we watch so you don't have to. We are your trash men. I am James Willems.
I'm Patrick Brown.
This episode, we're headed to the golden age of martial arts action cinema, the mid-2000s. Post-Matrix. That's
this is like the geriatric end to it.
I don't know about that. This film features a Mount Rushmore of martial arts masters. Martial arts masters both in front of and behind the camera.
Yeah.
We're trashing 2004's Sci Fighter.
Or
Extreme Fighter.
Thank you. There are two titles.
I'm coming back to rise again. I've beaten things and beat the best of me. Nothing can slow me down or make me stop. There's nothing standing my way. I'm gonna rise to the top.
So I think you have more connection to this film.
Oh, do I?
The only thing I could say is that to me, this feels like maybe somehow our most obscure one yet. I've never heard of this before until you brought it up. You sent me the trailer, which I immediately agreed to because the trailer just begins and it says guerrilla pictures. And I was like, all right, I'm in. But you were aware of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it does not have a cult following. It's not a cult classic. It is just a forgotten bad movie. but me and my friends rented it several times, very high.
Okay, yeah.
We'd get very high, go to Hollywood Video, a big old Hollywood Video. The one that actually, I think it then turned into a T-Mobile.
Oh,
near Ridgedale, if you're familiar, right off of 394.
I know the place. I know the exact spot. I can see it.
So we rented it several times. That and Ginger Dead Man was another one in that rotation.
Ginger Dead Man. That sounds somewhat familiar.
Yeah, Gary Busey's in that one.
Okay.
It's about a killer gingerbread man.
Yeah.
A little more notable.
Mm-hmm.
But this one took us for some reason.
Okay, all right.
Because I think it was just something that was seen in a store or in Hollywood Video. And looked really stupid.
And at the time, it was Sci Fighter, right?
No, it was Extreme Fighter.
It was Extreme Fighter.
Fighter.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I didn't know about Sci Fighter until I tried to find the movie like 8 years later and found out it was also called Sci Fighter.
All right. Well, this is the perfect time period because like DVDs were a big thing. So you could like make a movie and trick people like you into renting it.
They didn't trick us. We knew what we were getting.
Yeah, you kind of got tricked. A little bit tricked.
I'm making a podcast. I'm getting paid to make a podcast.
We're getting paid to make this podcast?
I mean, we're getting salaries outside of this podcast.
We could be doing nothing right now, to be clear. But yeah.
Well, that's sort of like the most interesting thing about this movie to me is it's such a weird, unique time for these types of movies because it is the end of it for sure. Well, no, it is. It's the end of anything with like charm at all. Or like watchable in a funny way. Because you had like B movies in the 70s and 80s, which were made for cheap theaters. And then like the 90s, just the golden age, right? Of garbage for rental markets because they just needed to fill shelves. And then into the 2000s, it's like, Blockbuster, they're still like around. Early 2000s, they're very much like 2004, they were probably doing fine still.
Yeah.
And then it so quickly ends.
Well,
so fast. And the market is like, it's just absolute garbage like Sharknado, which are literally, or not even Sharknado, but like the Asylum movies, where they're literally meant to trick people into renting them.
Yeah.
And then those weird like Bruce Willis movies that are made.
Those are like weird hybrid. The ones where the crew can afford to go to Eastern Europe to film.
Yeah.
But that still means that like you have like maybe a couple million to scratch together.
It's like 2.
Yeah.
And 1 of that million goes to the star.
Yeah.
And even those like they're not, I mean, those are just made to trick Chinese audiences into watching it.
Exactly.
Because they have a big name. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. I would say also technology, it plays. This is also when like digital You didn't have to worry. There was something to be said about making a garbage movie pre-2000 because you didn't have a digital camera that you could just film and film and film and film. You still had to plan your shot. You had to light your shot. You had to choreograph and block and do all these things. There were a lot of people required just to get something captured on film. But in the 2000s, that went out the window. All you need is to be able to point and press a red button and you can do anything you want to.
But it is still, and it's ridiculous to say for this movie because there is a lot of really weird green screen in this movie. But those movies now, the modern equivalent of that is entirely green screen. There's not a single set
I agree.
anywhere near it, you know? And this at least like they're running around a Japanese garden.
Yeah.
It's one Japanese garden is the whole
Where
set,
you said
basically.
it's in Pasadena or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But at least there's that.
They went somewhere. They shot somewhere. They went to a beach in Southern California. They went to a couple places. So it's this weird hybrid world where you're probably not going to find like a diamond in the rough. It's going to be bad, but there's still something there. I mean, let's get into the people behind this movie. So the director is Art Camacho.
Great name.
Which is a great name. It sounded like the kind of name that someone would have if they were a Looney Tunes character that you never thought to ask the name of. Like, what's the name of that guy Bugs is always doing that thing with? It's like, oh, that's Art Camacho.
You're looking up and you're like,
no
what?
idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Art Camacho, who is a stuntman and a choreographer, naturally, on over 50 films. He's worked with Dolph Lundgren, Steven Seagal, and most importantly, Bill Goldberg.
Good. Did he do Santa's Sleigh?
I think it was Half Past Dead 2.
Oh, good.
He was in Half Past Dead too. So yeah, he worked with Bill Goldberg, the man who I think everyone out there knows is the guy who ended Bret Hart's career prematurely with a reckless kick. The writer is Thomas Calicote, who you may be familiar with some of his other work though.
Okay.
Maleficent, Edge of Tomorrow.
Wait, what?
Now, to be clear, he was a previs artist on those films, not a writer. But he did work on them, or at least worked at the company that worked on them.
Okay, and that makes way more sense. Okay.
No, I think he only wrote one other thing, and then he said, I don't care for this. But I think what we really want to focus on are the stars.
Of course.
Because this is a package deal. Don the Dragon Wilson.
Of course.
If you grew up in the 90s.
Did you know there's a way to cut your dishwashing time by 50%? Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It removes 99% of grease and grime in half the time. Dawn Power Wash has 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps that remove food and grease 5 times faster. And because it cleans so well, you can replace multiple cleaning products for counters, stoves, and even laundry stains. Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. Brand power helping you buy better. Did you know there's a way to cut your dishwashing time by 50%? Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It removes 99% of grease and grime in half the time. Dawn Power Wash has 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps that remove food and grease 5 times faster. And because it cleans so well, you can replace multiple cleaning products for counters, stoves, and even laundry stains. Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. Brand power helping you buy better.
You've heard the name. You may not have ever seen, because I was thinking about it, and you were like, oh, this has Don the Dragon Wilson. I'm like, oh, right. I don't think I've ever seen a single Don the Dragon Wilson. He is legitimately considered to be one of the greatest kickboxers in American history.
Yeah, he's like a legit.
He's an actual martial artist. He is extremely talented and very deadly, though we'll get into it later. If you told me they just plucked this guy off the street and he's never done martial arts before in his life, I would believe you.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of it on display in this film.
Yeah.
But he's definitely was a household name in the 90s. What, Blood Fist, right?
Blood Fist 1 through 8.
1 through 8
where
is
he
definitely
plays different. He's in Batman Forever.
He's in Batman Forever. Yeah. I think someone else in this cast is in Batman Forever. And then it also stars Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah, Snake Eater. The Snake Eater.
The Snake Eater.
Yeah, you've never seen Snake Eater 1, Snake Eater 2, The Drug Buster?
No, I haven't.
And Snake Eater 3.
Lorenzo Lamas is another one of those people in the 90s. You're like, oh, yeah, I know Lorenzo. He was a soap opera star turned renegade.
Yep. Renegade was a long running. Or was it long running?
I know. It probably only ran for
like
2 actual
episodes.
years, but then it was just in syndication forever.
Yeah,
but that was the kind of... Renegade was another one of those action shows from the 90s that I don't know that anyone my age cared about at all. But it would be like, coming on after this thing you like, Renegade.
Yeah.
That was basically where it existed, like silk stockings. And then, you know, there's some other non-notable people in here. There's a lot of martial artists that we'll probably get to when we get to.
A lot of them are notable, but not to the average person.
There's a couple, there's one big one that I think you might be aware of, right? But then we also have Cynthia Rothrock.
Yeah.
Who is the female co-star. She is also a legit martial artist. I looked into it. She was a pioneer as a woman in the world of martial arts. She's got 7 black belts.
Yeah, she competed like in men's tournaments and like won most of them.
Yeah,
right?
she's like one of the best, which we were confused too because we were like, who is this person? She can't act. Why does this woman? She can't act, and it's unclear. But she's been in films with Michelle Yeoh, and reportedly, the inspiration for Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Apparently so. Apparently she as a martial artist is the inspiration for Sonya Blade.
I mean, hey, maybe.
That's in there. Yeah. And then but then essentially retired after Sci Fighter. I think she did a couple things.
Yeah, she retired and then
came back for 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was like some Christmas movie I think I saw.
Most of the people in this film teach at dojos within like 3 miles from here.
Yes. So we could meet any of these people and take a class with them in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Almost in every instance.
Yeah.
Like I looked up what's his name? Like Gokron or Gorkon? Gokor,
the judo master.
I looked up Gokor. Gokor's another Gokor's
the
just
Armenian
a huge
assassin.
Guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Gokor's a huge guy that they run into in this movie. And I looked it up and was like, oh, we could take a class with this guy in 5 minutes.
We could be doing it right now. Instead, we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, those are the notables. Again, there's some other character actors that you click on. You're like, oh, they have 60, 70 entries on their IMDb.
Yeah.
Nothing I've ever heard of before. Most of the characters don't have names. But that doesn't mean they're not fantastic in what they do. And they're all a piece of the puzzle called Sci Fighter, aka Extreme Fighter. And we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Because then we're going to get into the breakdown.
I'm gonna rise to the top.
All right, we're back. You ready to get into it? Let's talk about Sci Fighter from the beginning. First image.
Gorilla Pictures.
Boom, I'm in.
Just a big old gorilla. I looked up the filmography of Gorilla Pictures, then I forgot. I think I closed the tab by accident. So
Yeah,
we'll never know. We'll never know. But yeah, I mean, what a hook to get you in the door, right?
Yeah.
Big old ape. And then one of the cheapest looking iMovie title sequences I've ever seen. It's pretty impressive.
I did the exact same thing. When I graduated college, I wanted to take all the short films that I made. So I made a DVD that I could burn everything onto. And I was like, my last little experiment will be making custom DVD menus. So I filmed myself on a green screen with all kinds of wacky, like almost like a James Bond type thing where I was like a silhouette, like pointing at this stuff. Identical to what they did.
Yeah.
Me alone with student tools.
Very cheap. It's very Matrix. I mean, clearly the Matrix had come out a few years ago. There's a lot of numbers and like green digital lines and stuff. Title I noticed right off the bat, Bob Wall.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know, like something deep registered in me and I was like, I know that name.
Yeah.
He's the guy from Enter the Dragon that Bruce Lee jumps on his neck and does the famous
guy with the scar down his eye because he people always think he killed Bruce Lee's sister, but she kills herself real quick.
She jumps out a window.
She grabs she gets smashed and then she grabs some of the glass and they're just
I'm thinking of
they're like, ma'am, you dropped your purse, and she just immediately puts the glass in her belly.
I'm thinking of Ricky O, where she jumps out the window.
Yeah, Ricky O. The Shame or whatever. But yeah, so Gorilla Pictures, and then Vegas. We get the Vegas skyline.
Yeah, beautiful Vegas skyline, some stock footage. It's a tournament.
It's a martial arts
Don the Dragon Wilson is participating. It seems to be the tournament is taking place in a large, whatever you call it, like venue
like
in the
convention
hotel.
center, kind of, yeah.
But just on the floor.
Yeah.
It's just like circles of people watching people grapple on the hotel floor. And then there's one stage that kind of looks like a stage where you might go up to get an award or present or speak. No, they're fighting up there too.
There's a fight.
I think
it's like a maybe a show fight, like just a fun spar kind of thing. But Don the Dragon is
his
sparring.
name is
His name is Jack.
Jack
Tanaka.
Jack Tanaka.
He is sparring against some other guy, and we're like, all right, we're kicking it off right now, right off the bat with some action. And what do we get instead?
Jack, I don't remember. Jack leaves the stage. Grandpa throws him a towel, I think.
Well, even before that, they're fighting, and it looks like nothing.
Oh yeah, it's really slow.
It looks like if you and I were going to film a funny social video for this podcast where we were going to do martial arts.
Using the martial arts we've learned just from watching this type of movie.
So it's like you punch me, then I'll punch you, then you kick me, then I'll kick you, and then we'll circle.
And the whole thing like is shot very close up on everyone, so you can't see anything that's happening.
Yeah. I know Art is a very talented director, but something happened here. Maybe one of the mini DVs that stored the footage was lost, because there's a lot of shots where like, this is it? That's the only thing
They
you
definitely
got?
lost all the footage from one camera for the entirety of the movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's gone. Backstage, Don's father,
who's brought a woman, Sally,
he's brought a woman
Cynthia
named
Rothrock.
Sally, undetermined age. Is
really hard to tell.
I can't tell who anyone is.
A lot of people in this movie are ageless.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely not in their 20s.
Yeah.
But they're like, could be anywhere from 30 to 60.
It's very hard to tell. Even Don the Dragon Wilson, I'm like, he could be 22 years old or 60.
yeah.
And so he tries to hook him up, but this isn't the time or the place.
Because his wife died.
His wife
Mom
died. Not too long
Or
ago,
Brad's
maybe.
mom died.
Maybe weeks or months.
Year.
Or
Oh, no, it's not years, because
less than a year.
It's recent.
There's
Fairly
lots of
recent.
birthdays.
Fairly recent, yeah.
And then hard cut action.
B-boy
spy.
Brad.
What?
Oh, never mind.
No, you're jumping way
I
hard.
jumped too far ahead.
You're jumping too far ahead.
Yeah.
We see Lorenzo Lamas.
Why is he in this movie?
He's a spy. He's working in a spy. He's infiltrating a facility.
He doesn't do anything.
Okay, but he infiltrates the facility, and he takes out a whole line of guys.
Yeah.
Boom, left, boom, right. They're going down. Big guy comes out of nowhere.
Has a gun, doesn't use it once.
He's got a gun. He doesn't use it. He's fighting a big guy, but then ultimately he's confronted with a hostage situation.
And the hostage is quickly killed.
Yeah, immediately stabbed in the spine. And lo and behold,
it wasn't
real.
It was VR.
It was VR, a video game, no less.
Yeah.
And he's pulled out of it almost as though they hadn't filmed the other scene yet. Like he doesn't know what happened or what was supposed to transpire. So he just kind of asks, they say, oh, well, the hostage died. But this is a program. We see Jack's dad is there. He's the professor.
Yeah, the grandpa. Right?
Grandpa is working on this device. It is the culmination of his life's work. It is a video game that trains you.
He is the most memorable character in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not a martial artist.
No.
Just a really bad actor. And his acting is so particularly bad that it is what I remember from 20 years ago when I rented this.
Oh, really? It came back?
His lines in this movie have never left my head.
It's like
several of them.
It's like those things where people do ADR back on their lines, and they don't have the context for the scene.
Yeah.
So they're kind of saying different things with weird inflections. That's all of his lines.
Yeah.
And he's there for all of them. He also embellishes. He has these little embellishments where instead of just saying like, it's okay, Brad, go to bed, he'll say, Brad, come on, it's okay. So why don't you just go to bed?
Yep.
And then high inflection at the end. But he's a better scientist than he is an actor.
Oh, yeah, because he's created a GameCube.
For the FBI to train their agents.
Yeah.
He literally says so that way he can handle any confrontation, whether or not it's with a terrorist or a man on the street.
Yes, which we'll get to later because they do fight men on the street.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so then that's it. Lorenzo Lamas is like, I think he flirts with the woman a little bit.
Yeah.
Then they give him a towel, even though all he was doing was sitting in a chair.
That's what
they
it was.
Go clean up.
Yeah, go clean up. And it's like, what
he just messed himself. Well, we realized later the potential for the software is very high.
We added quite a bit to this movie that was not there.
It was subtext.
It enhanced it though.
And then we see Sally doing. I thought she was bad at first because she was like
I
taking
thought Lorenzo
the thing.
Lamas was bad.
I thought everyone was bad.
Yeah.
I thought someone was
None
gonna
of them
turn.
are.
None of them are.
It turns out the bad guy is the Scorpion.
No.
Yeah.
It's a different woman.
No, that's not the Scorpion.
No, that's a different woman.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
my
There's
God.
only 3 women in the whole movie. So
I don't believe. I don't believe
it's not
you.
the scorpion.
I don't
I'm
believe
telling
you.
you.
I think
It's a different woman.
we'll see. We'll see.
So we get to a party. We see a expensive Los Angeles home.
It's like a nice valley house.
There's a party.
Yeah.
And I think that's cut back and forth with the lab, and then also with Jack Tanaka teaching a martial arts class.
He's teaching 4-year-olds
He's teaching 4-year-olds
how to do
martial arts.
something. Yeah.
We'll find out later that he's doing this on his own son's birthday.
Yes, it is his
His-
son's birthday.
His son is acting out. He threw a big party.
Yep.
He's worried about getting caught,
Well,
but also
The first scene of the party is Brad doing his b-boy Brad.
Mhm.
He's like breakdancing, using his martial arts to breakdance
Mhm.
on like the brick around the pool,
Yeah.
and no one's watching.
No
him.
one cares.
There's like 6 people right next to him, and they're all having their own conversations, and he's just going at it, breakdancing.
Then it just cuts away.
Very uncomfortable. And then suddenly he's in a hot tub with his girlfriend.
He's in his hot tub with a girlfriend. It turns out it's his birthday. He's a little bit worried. Some tensions building between him and his father,
Yep.
but it's okay. She's here to calm the situation by giving him a beer,
Yeah,
and
it
then
takes
them-
a little sippy sip.
and then them doing a little makeout sesh.
Yeah.
She gives him tickets.
We don't see
too,
what happens under the water.
that the bubbles
We don't
conceal
see.
everything.
We don't see it.
You don't see it,
So
but
we don't
it
know. We
Could
can't
be
sp-
anything.
We could speculate, but we don't know.
You put whatever you want in the IMDb
Yeah.
trivia. But unfortunately, Jack came home just in time to see
which
this
of course
bad
he
behavior.
did.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right?
He also, Brad goes, "Oh, I'm worried about my dad coming home." And it's like, yeah,
He's definitely coming
he's
home.
coming home after work,
But
probably
why wouldn't he?
right now.
Yeah.
And big trouble. How dare you throw a party for
Grounded.
yourself on your birthday?
Grounded.
You're grounded
Yep.
for a whole week. You're drinking beer. You're lashing
Mhm.
out. Their conversation is actually really reasonable, though. They don't really raise their
No,
voice.
yeah.
Brad is kind of just like, this is how you are. So he retreats back to his room. And this is where I go Team Brad, because he's got Jet Set Radio.
It's already running.
It's already
He
running
left
in
it
the
running.
background. He's got Xbox posters all over the walls.
Let me tell you, an Xbox, original Xbox, that is not a machine you want to just keep running and walk away from.
No.
It will brick
Yeah.
quickly,
Yeah.
very quickly. He's very mopey, but yeah, a lot of Xbox posters, which
Mhm.
is strange because of the console that plays more prominently in this
It's the
is
GameCube.
the GameCube.
In this world, the GameCube in this universe, the GameCube doesn't exist.
Right,
Because it
it's-
has to run Sci Fighter.
Yeah,
So
it
that's
was an
why.
FBI creation. Brad, I also noticed Brad has almost no interest in his girlfriend.
No.
He does not want to be in that hot tub with her.
No.
He would rather be, I guess, playing Jet Set Radio
Or probably breakdancing.
or breakdancing.
That's when
alone.
he seems his most
Yeah.
happy,
'Cause
honestly.
he did not want to be in that pool. He didn't want to be drinking beer.
Mhm.
He seemed excited about the concert tickets that she gave him.
She
But
gave him
other
concert
than
tickets,
that,
but those are out the window now because he's grounded.
Yeah.
They even have a phone call where they discuss it, and it
Yeah.
never comes up again. But yeah, so Brad or Jack, I should say, realizes that maybe he's better at running a dojo than he is at being a
father. Yeah.
And there's tensions. It's been tension building. Grandpa shows up, goes, "What's going on?
Yep.
No party, no nothing. I brought this gift for you, which
This
we're going to
weird
find out in a
gift.
second
Yeah.
what it is." He's go, "What's going on?" He goes, "I know things have been hard since your wife passed."
Oh, that's when we
And-
find out.
And so there's been a lot of tension. There's no direction, and it seems like maybe Jack is too committed to his dojo to really love his son, and his son is just trying to figure out who he is. And
I guess
it's tough.
Yeah.
But that's why Grandpa's here, and he brought the perfect gift.
He's the salve that will cure this relationship woes.
in a giant clown-sized Jack in the Box
Huge
box,
box,
which
yeah.
we don't even see him open.
No.
He has brought with him.
Well, because part of it's also just in a normal sized gift bag that he also has with him.
Oh right, yeah. Part of he brought Sci Fighter.
yeah.
Is what I can only assume is a government contracted software
It is.
to
Which-
just give to his son.
At first, it's kind of like, oh, this is he made a version of it. But then as the movie goes on, it's like, no, I think this is just the
This is
FBI
it.
training software that he made or whatever.
Yeah, this is the whole thing, and he probably shouldn't be showing it to a lot of
Yeah.
people. But he thinks this is a great opportunity to kind of like get them to bond.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sets it up, and they're going to play it on the couch. Now, just to be clear, Sci Fighter
Very important
is a
to get into
GameCube console
It is
that
a
you plug into
GameCube.
the wall,
Yes.
and then
A literal GameCube.
it's a literal GameCube.
There's a sticker. There's a silver, like glossy sticker over the controller ports
Yeah.
that says Sci Fighter, but each individual controller port is very clearly visible
Mhm.
underneath
Yep.
the sticker.
Yep. and it's attached to 2 bicycle helmets.
Again, we're not being like hyperbolic. These are bike helmets.
Bike helmets.
Bought from Target,
Yeah.
off the rack,
Yes.
and fitted with some LEDs.
Yeah.
Like,
And they pull down over the eyes, and then
Yeah.
boom, you're in VR. And you're not in VR. It's not like moving around. This isn't like an Oculus.
You are in the Matrix.
You go zoned out.
Yeah,
I
you are.
assume some sort of thing drills into your spinal cord,
Yeah.
pulls the messaging system
Yep.
from there. And you are in this game, which is a martial arts action
sim. Yeah.
It just throws all kinds of martial artists at you. They're all different computer programs. Some have their own sense of existence. Some are
Yeah,
self-aware.
they're self-aware.
Others are just drones. But Brad goes in before
Some
he
are
can go
monkey
in-
men.
Some are monkey men. There's also a woman who speaks through a screen,
Oh, well.
and she's probably 47 years old, but is wearing pigtails as though she's like a teenager.
It's so strange.
And everyone's
So,
like, "Whoa, who's this hottie?"
it looks like the mom from Malcolm in the Middle.
It looks
A
exactly
lot.
lot like the
It
mom.
really looks
Yeah.
like her. But yeah, pigtails and is like very flirty. And they're all like, oh.
But it's not that she isn't attractive. It's just that she's dressed up like a 16-year-old.
Like Japanese idol.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone, the kid, the dad are all like, whoa, mamma
And it's like a
mia."
50-year-old white woman.
So it's got to be.
It's
She's got to be
so-
at least in her 40s.
So strange. The ages all across this movie are boggling. But this one in particular is like, what is this? It's honestly, it's more of a window into the grandpas.
Oh yeah, that's most
psyche,
of this whole
which
game.
we'll
is.
get into later too. Yeah.
Most of the whole game
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that. There's a lot of stuff in this where you see the way someone looks and you go, there must be a reason for this. Like when you see someone, you're like, why
Yeah.
is that person in old makeup? It's because later on in the movie, they're going to transform into a young person.
Yes.
This is how you know. This character never returns.
No.
So
This is
there,
the final appearance. It must be an Easter egg. It must be someone.
it must be someone.
Is my guess,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Also, I noted the helmet is so noisy. When they put that helmet on, it's like banging around.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much crap in
rattling.
there that is not attached properly. It's terrible. It's
It's a
so
prototype.
loud.
It's a prototype. Come on.
Well, work out the bugs.
he just
maybe.
needs to get the grant for the next $10 billion.
Yeah.
But father and son go into the game, and the first person they face is a karate man,
Mhm.
which most of these characters don't have names. They're just like named after their martial art.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's a karate man. I found out the karate man, who looks a lot like John Hamm, is Chris Casamassa,
Yes, he is.
who is Scorpion
Yep.
from almost every iteration of Mortal Kombat.
Yep. Yes, he is. I would never have known.
Well,
Probably
how
because of
could
the
you?
mask.
How could you?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in like both the original movies.
hmm
I think some like video games and animated
it's
stuff too,
he's
right?
in spin-offs and things
he's,
too.
He is
He is Scorpion.
He's Scorpion.
So that's cool. We got
Yeah,
2 Mortal Kombat
great,
characters
yeah.
already in the game. But they choose to fight him, and then he basically beats Don the Dragon. He beats Jack
yeah,
and
hurts him.
hurts him, or he thinks he hurts him. He
Yeah,
pops
yeah,
out of it and goes,
yeah.
"Oh, am I bleeding?" And it's like, no, it's a video game, you
Yeah,
idiot.
you dumbass.
What are you, the kid from Neverending Story? You think this
No.
is real? But even though he doesn't know anything about it, he complains
Mhm.
to his dad. You got to fix this game. Dad goes in, he tests some stuff. Ultimately, they say, "All right, this is too new. Maybe let's stay away from this for too long.
Yeah, we went too far.
We're not to go too far." So everyone kind of splits. You're probably wondering, where's Lorenzo Lamas? Don't know.
Gone.
He's not in
He's
it.
out
He
of the
shows
picture.
up maybe in like half an hour, and he's out of focus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He does call in briefly. Yeah.
So then Brad goes to sleep, has a dream about his mom.
That's important. So we learned that the way the mom died, is Brad and his mom, who had a very close relationship. We were speculating on just maybe how close.
Maybe a little bit more. Than
Yeah, maybe a little more than
mother,
you know.
mother son.
And they were making a cake for for Dawn. They didn't have birthday candles, which of course he's gonna lose his mind if he
Yeah.
gets a cake without candles. He's
Mhm.
gonna fly off the handle. And this is a dangerous man. This is a
He
trained
knows how to
warrior.
kill, yeah.
So the mom leaves. Brad is like, I don't want to go. You go alone. I have something to do. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
She goes and gets stabbed in the back in the grocery store parking lot.
Well, all
Right?
of the interaction is in black and white, but then
Yeah.
that one shot is in color for
Color.
some reason, and it's
And
just a
POV.
flash. It's basically The Flash.
Yeah.
It's the same premise as The Flash.
She gets stabbed in the heart in a parking which is a strange crime.
It is a strange.
It's not often that
well,
someone
could've
just walks up behind someone and stabs them, killing them. With
also, in the context
no
of this
motive.
film, you think, oh well, they're gonna get the guy somehow.
Oh no,
they're gonna get
that's
the
only
guy.
that's the last we see of him.
No,
Yeah,
that's
he's
it.
gone. He's done.
He's completely gone. We don't. We can only assume the man got away with it.
He did.
She could have died of cancer.
She could have,
or any sort of other thing, and it didn't happen.
But that's why Brad feels guilty.
He feels
because if he had been there, he could have used his martial arts to stop
or breakdance fighting.
Man.
He could have distracted him with breakdance fighting.
Could be.
Yep.
But here's my thing: if he's on the other side of the car when the mom gets stabbed, he can't stop it. He's too far away, which makes me think if he feels that guilty, he probably rides in the back seat behind his mom.
Well, and the seats also turned
like
backwards, like babies, so he's facing the back of the seat as well.
Okay, yeah. So he
wouldn't have seen a
buckled
thing.
up anyway. Yeah.
He's get me out of here, mom,
undo it.
Either way, he can't sleep, and so he decides to go back into the game. And
big mistake.
It was a big mistake. While he's in there, something goes wrong. Someone grabs him or something. I don't even really truly remember.
Well, Karate Man, who now has like evil contact lenses,
to awareness,
apply something, grabs him. He beats him. He grabs him and like turns him into it. Like does lightning, and lightning spreads across the Sci Fighter game, and it unplugs it.
Unplugs the game.
Now we're in backup power.
We're in backup battery, and they don't try plugging it in ever.
No, they don't.
Don the Dragon Wilson comes into the room. He's like, my son. He tries to take the bicycle helmet off. He can't because he gets slightly shocked. And now the only option is to go into the game. Grandpa shows up. Grandpa, get over here.
Yeah.
Grandpa says
your son is trapped inside the game.
Inside the game is to go into the game and battle to the last level.
Yeah. The grandpa knows what to do right away, which makes me think he's been through this several times.
Yeah, this is a part of the game.
This has happened before.
And so without hesitation, Jack is in the game. He finds the Karate Man, beats him.
Deddy.
Right. He draws him in.
I hope he's dead.
From this point on, the movie is essentially just
moving
a slight change in location and another fight. I really don't know how to describe it in detail. Would be there's so many different fights. We're gonna try and get through them as quickly as possible.
There's a few that are more notable. I think Cynthia Rothrock versus that other woman.
White Dragon versus the virus.
The one where she runs across runs up the stick.
Yeah, that's when she's fighting the virus.
Oh, she's the virus?
She's the virus, which we're gonna get into more after this break. Okay, so Patrick, you teased the White Dragon. I don't know how, I tried to keep notes. We have the Karate Man. We have the twin fighters.
Yep.
Those two guys that fight in a parking lot.
Elvis jokes.
They make some Elvis jokes. They try and play it off like they're the same person, and then they split. But it's when they're filming it, you're like, oh, there's two of them.
It's filmed such that there are clearly two people.
Yeah.
But also it's like so close.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're supposed to think.
There's a Monkey Man.
Monkey Man
Brad
is good.
faces off against a Monkey Man.
Yep.
And loses.
Yep.
And then Sally.
Code Black. It's our worst nightmare.
Sally gets
It's
right.
The name is the line I wrote down.
That's Code Black. But
Yep.
Sally's also in the game as White Dragon.
Yes.
So even though they never met, Jack sees this woman from far away and thinks, "Wow, that is one stunning martial artist."
You know.
And she doesn't. They dress her in this gown.
It's really
this flowing
it's
gown.
so weird.
But she is she's an athlete. She moves
very clearly,
like an athlete.
She is running with like strength and power.
I said there's one point
kind of crazy in this weird lingerie.
There's one point where I said she looks like she's walking like a Clydesdale.
Yes.
Which is great.
Yeah,
but in the gown, it's weird.
This woman could beat the shit out of either
could
of us.
Kill
in
us.
2 seconds.
Kill us. And
she looks like it.
She looks like it.
But, to then throw it in like this, it's a
But
weird
him to just be
outfit.
completely enamored and
Yeah.
her to be in this weird, awkward
Yeah.
dress. It's strange. Also, we don't know why it looks. Grandpa made this game, so you're telling me he just randomly put in this
His coworker?
half-naked version of his
He's-
coworker.
We know why.
I
We know
mean,
what he's doing.
We know
what he's
why.
doing. Yeah.
We know why. He's smitten, but the woman that the white dragon is fighting gets away.
Yeah, is that so? That's not the scorpion.
No, that's not the scorpion. That's a
okay.
different woman.
Well, White Dragon also in a very strange, like one of the only maybe sort of more practical effectsy shots of the movie, like runs up a stick.
There's
at
like
her.
two or three wire
yeah,
stunts, and this is one of them.
Where she runs up the stick and like kicks her or something. And
but it's cut
runs
weird,
away.
so they don't
It's
even
cut
show
very
it. So
straight,
it's
yeah.
clearly it didn't work, and they had to cover it up. And again, it's going to sound like we're just listing stuff here, but this is how the rest of the movie goes.
I mean, it's just fight and then another fight and then another fight.
He fights someone, and then there's a glow on the right side of the screen. He runs out of frame, implying that he steps through a portal into the next level. Probably the most harrowing one is when he gets surrounded by a bunch of ninjas that just circle him.
Just kick the shit out of him.
Occasionally reaching in to kick him in the shin or something, and he punches one back. And that's when Grandpa pops in to say, you have to
adapt.
You have to adapt. That's
Yeah.
what this whole program is about, making you face every conceivable confrontation. And one of those happens to be circled by ninjas that aren't really trying to hurt you all that much and just frustrate you.
And then like adapting to him just means starting to fight them instead of just getting hit a bunch.
Yeah.
He kind of just cowering in the middle and they
Yeah.
come in and sucker punch him and they back out and he's still there.
This is when I started wondering, is Don Wilson an actual martial artist?
Yeah.
Because nothing, there's no display of anything. His son, Brad, is doing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We catch up with Brad, and Brad's locked away in a jail, I guess, an actual prison, and this massive, huge beefcake guy with a mohawk.
It's not a mohawk, it's like spikes coming out of
Spiky,
his
yeah.
head.
He looks like a Koopa Trooper.
Yeah.
From the Mario Brothers movie. And he sets him free, but with the warning to not come back, because I guess this guy
Or he'll kill him.
is a game program that's designed to battle the virus.
Viruses,
And
yeah.
he wants it to, he doesn't, so he assumes that he is part of the virus.
Which they don't tell us.
They don't tell
till
us
the
that.
end, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. So Brad goes out and then immediately fights some guy
I think the Monkey Man is in there too somewhere.
somewhere. He does this thing where he can't leave the world. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
basically was an excuse for them to shoot three fight
same-
scenes in
in
the
the
same
same-
location. But then eventually he does get out there. Let's see. We go back over to Jack. He fights, the unhoused man.
Yeah, he assaults a man living under a bridge. I mean, the guy kind of comes at him first, but cracks a bottle over his head.
Yeah. But still, it's one of those things where
Yeah.
it's like, what does Grandpa think that he programs a
Yeah.
level where this
Where
is
you
like,
just have to
just
beat,
in case.
Yeah.
This guy gets up. Then, then we see the Lorenzo Lamas action sequence from the beginning happens again.
Again, yeah, he's back inside.
No, it's called a memory. They call it a memory. So it's not even the actual Lorenzo Lamas. They just play it back again, but this time instead of the hostage dying, Don the Dragon Wilson shows up to stop it.
Yeah.
They fight together and then he runs off. And it feels like a scene from like Roger Rabbit where someone interrupts like another cartoon.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
It's a cameo from Bugs Bunny or something.
It's really weird, and I don't know why. I don't understand why Lorenzo Lamas is in this movie.
He's doing a favor.
'Cause
to
you
cash
really,
the
like,
check.
At this point, I feel like he was still making bad movies on his own. Like,
Cash the check.
guess
You know,
so, yeah.
$200 is still $200. And
my
then,
favorite is the weapons guy. That's one of those lines that's been with me for. Well, he blasts through all his lines, but he's like, "Very good. Can't believe you did that. One more thing, you got to go through me to get to next portal."
Whoa. We got punctuation there for a reason, bud. He rushes through. Yeah, he fights the weapons guy. And I mean, these aren't even large climactic fights. At
No.
some point, he goes through a portal, comes out of the ocean. And
Oh yeah, he like rises out of the sea.
I think this is after the scorpion. So
Yeah.
he is walking down a path and then whip around his neck.
Yeah.
And there's a leather-clad
Well, at first
woman.
he takes out a guy.
Right, he does. He does.
Stealth takedowns a guy, and then instantly like a loop around his neck, and he's getting dragged.
I wrote here, a game designed to prepare you for anything, so naturally he has to battle a leather woman with a whip that has a sexual connection to the violence she commits.
You never know
Could
what you're
happen
gonna
to
have to
any of
deal
us.
with.
It could happen to any of us.
That's how I train.
It should be clear that he does defeat the scorpion by punching her in the face.
Yeah.
And then
He seems hesitant at first. And I also read somewhere that there were multiple men fighting women scenes that Don the Dragon Wilson said, we
That's
gotta cut
enough.
it. No, we
Wow,
gotta cut
good
it.
for him.
But then that one, he was like, no, this one's fine.
He's like, well,
Yeah.
one slap to the
One's
face.
not bad.
It ends with Scorpion, who I must remind you is a computer program,
Yeah.
on the ground saying, why don't you come back next time and we can, basically implying we can have sex with each other.
Yeah. Well, because what we were talking about is how this is a program designed so that if you bust inside,
Go on.
you can't get pregnant.
Yeah, that's the truth of the matter is that's why
Yeah.
it was built.
So if he took out the Karate Man
Mhm.
and had him right there in the dojo
Yeah.
floor, Karate Man's not going to get pregnant.
He's not going to get pregnant.
Likewise with any other character in this
Any of the
movie. The Monkey Man,
Yeah,
nothing.
nothing.
Not gonna get pregnant.
You can't get pregnant. It doesn't work
Even
that
if
way.
the Monkey Man had Don the Dragon Wilson on the
Uh-huh.
floor of that forested
Yeah.
grove,
Mhm.
Don the Dragon Wilson's not getting pregnant
No one's getting
because it's
pregnant.
all simulated.
It's-
That's the thing. It's all simulated.
It's the perfect form of technological adaptation.
Exactly.
And that's what Grandpa built. And that was his dream from the beginning. He hands it over to the government because it's done. And the general goes,
Grandson.
the general goes, so you're telling me anyone can bust a nut in anything in
they
this
don't have to
world
worry.
and no one's getting pregnant?
He says, yes,
You're absolutely right.
all our dreams have come true.
General, you're 100% right. And yeah.
He basically gives his grandson an Oculus Quest 3 and a fleshlight.
Yeah.
It's like, have fun.
But he wants the father and son to try it at the same time.
Yeah,
too.
it's very important to him that father and son are in there together, both experiencing being able to bust anywhere without fear of getting that thing pregnant.
Also, every once in a while, it'll cut out to the real world.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll
yeah.
show Sally, who is now there and like quietly in love with Don the Dragon Wilson,
Yeah,
even though they've never met before, watching a monitor of him
Uh-huh.
flirting and
With
making out with
her
computer
analog?
programs,
Yeah.
with her likeness
So creepy.
in the machine. There's a point where he
She's
comes
into
out
it.
of the water and there's just a bunch of beach babes.
Oh, yeah.
Just-
and hunks.
And a couple of beefcakes too. Beach babes there who then just start caressing him.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's
here's
like-
the thing about those women.
Mm-hmm.
He can bust a nut in
Anywhere.
any of them.
Any of them. Or same with Goron.
And it doesn't, Gokor.
Gokor.
Who is also there. He shows
Yeah.
up out of nowhere and he goes, I'm a judo guy. You have to fight me here.
Yeah.
And-
And if he defeated him and then Gokor, by rules of combat, then took Don the Dragon Wilson in his mouth, and Don the Dragon Wilson.
That's the other thing too. That's the other
finished,
thing too. Because you
Gokor wouldn't get pregnant.
and that's the other thing about this game too,
Yeah.
is that it tastes good.
Yeah.
So even if Don took Gokor into his mouth, you'd see
In the real world.
Sally would look at, she's holding his hand and she would see him with the VR bicycle helmet on. He'd be he'd be
Pleasant.
slurping it
Yeah,
down.
he likes it. Oh, Lord.
I think at some point one of the beach babes turns out to be the virus lady.
Yeah, she passes the virus to him. He passes out. He goes and fights, I think the big guy.
Gokor. He fights Gokor.
Well, he fights another guy and then wakes up again and then fights Gokor, I think, right?
No, he because
It
they
doesn't
kiss
matter.
him.
It doesn't matter.
He kisses she goes, I'm not real and I can't get pregnant. So he kisses her.
Says, "Ooh, okay."
And then that was a poison that makes him fall asleep inside of VR, where
Yeah.
inside of VR he has a dream about White Dragon. running across a lake.
Yes, she runs across the lake.
And then it turns out she's like some sort of protector of the game, and she's like, "You gotta." He's like, "Can I just stay here with you? You can't even get pregnant." And she's like, "You gotta fifind your son."
Yeah. I don't think you understand. It doesn't matter where I bust. You can't get pregnant. Nor can I. Yeah. Well, he tells her, "I don't want to leave you."
Yeah, I don't want to leave.
He is. I don't think he talked to her in the. No, he did talk to her briefly in the other fight scene, but like he has no reason to not want to leave.
He's got a ton of reason.
Well, okay, but he's spoken to her for 10 seconds total, and that's a big thing. I don't want to leave you. The frame rate changes at some point in here.
There's a lot of times where they change.
Is this where the flashback happens to the ring?
The ring.
No, the ring is the final thing. Never mind.
That's the last
level. It's not
level.
a flashback. Yeah.
Yeah. So he snaps out of it. He fights Gokor, who at the time, Patrick found out that we could have literally driven 15 minutes and gotten a lesson from him.
Yeah.
That day.
He's very close by.
And so we might do that eventually.
Yeah.
Reunites with his son. His son finds him, but it turns out it isn't him. It was a test.
And then
to see. Again, Grandpa programmed all of this. You have to remember, Grandpa programmed it so that way, just in case you ever need to fight your father,
it's in there.
You can do it.
Yeah, Grandpa is an old pervert.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I think
he's a pervert with a dream.
The age thing is it's like someone else might cast, like I don't know, people who aren't in their 40s and 50s is the kind of like sexy whatever.
Yeah.
This is Grandpa we're talking about.
No.
Grandpa actually cast young for what he likes.
Very young.
He wanted 60s, 70s probably.
Yeah,
but he understands the FBI wants, a little younger than.
They compromised.
It was a compromise.
Because for Grandpa, I mean, 60, 70, you can't get pregnant anyway.
Exactly. It doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. So he just made a world that matched
what he's
the world
his
paradise.
Inside, yeah.
Either way, father and son are now reunited, but they still need to get to the end of the game, and they have a circle of ninjas to face.
This is so the ninjas are like phasing in and out of reality. Don the Dragon figures out, I just jump through. There's nothing happened. He very clearly does it and is not harmed. And the kid is like, I don't want to take it. Like Neverending Story 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where Bastian doesn't want to jump in the waterfall. Even though his father's reading the book and saying, like, jump.
Do it. You're a diver.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a diver. I'm disappointed in you for being a coward.
I agree.
Very similar situation here. He does do it, though, eventually.
He eventually leaves. And then now there's some sort of discussion about them taking the right path.
Yeah.
Which was weird because there's 3 paths to go.
Lorenzo Lamas comes back for this one scene to call, as like the grandpa calls him and is like, Lorenzo, what is there a pattern that you've noticed? He's like, it's totally random, but there's a pattern.
Yeah.
The middle path. But the son is like, I think this one. And so
Grandpa teleports into the game like Dr. Light.
Yeah.
And he goes, you got to take this path. And the son goes, I don't know. I think we should take this path. And then Don the Dragon Wilson says, I'm going to go with my gut and trust my son. They go, wrong path.
Very wrong.
That's where they get into a fight, I think, with the ninjas. Then they come back. They go, Grandpa was right. They take the right path. That's the right path.
It was the right path.
They're in the final level, and it is a full-on real cage fight with the song that you were singing the lyrics to.
Yes, because I also remember this. This was something that, again, me and my friends were singing like years after seeing the movie and spent a few weeks, I think, trying to figure out what the hell that song was from. And then finally somehow figured out that it was this movie that it was from.
Yeah.
But it's trust in me. I'm gonna trust in you. Something. Trust is the glue.
That's it. Yeah. And who's waiting in the center of the ring? It's the bald mohawk spike guy.
Yeah.
For a big fight that they don't have in the ring.
Nope.
It
pretty quickly like phases out of the ring. I think what happened is they like filmed 10 seconds at an actual like
that's exactly what happened.
MMA fight. Yeah.
And that was
like,
not allowed to film.
That's all you got.
And so they're just in some back warehouse again. And he's fighting the guy who reveals himself to be pro wrestler.
Yep.
The strongest martial art.
Yep.
His son is fighting someone else off on the other side. He's getting body slammed. He's losing.
Yeah.
Getting his butt kicked.
Well, because we were talking about, it doesn't matter if you are like a 10th degree black belt. If a dude that big just grabs you and can get you onto the ground,
he's gonna have you.
You're toast. He's gonna have you,
and you're not even gonna get pregnant.
You're not gonna get pregnant. There's nothing you can do. It's too big a guy.
Yeah. eventually, when Brad, his son, joins the fray, they can overpower him
Yeah.
together.
He realizes they're not the virus.
They're not the virus, and so it's good. They beat the game, and they're allowed to leave. And so Brad leaves the game, but before they can leave, who shows up?
Scorpion.
No, the
Oh,
virus.
sorry.
A different
Sorry.
woman.
Also, when we say Scorpion, we're not talking about Mortal Kombat Scorpion.
No.
Unless we're talking about that guy who played Scorpion in all of the Mortal Kombat things.
Yeah.
We're talking about
The dominatrix woman with the whip.
yes.
Who calls her? She says, "My
Yes.
name is the Scorpion," and she's,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware, the only character that names herself.
Yeah.
And so Jack is trapped there.
Mhm.
Virus teleports him away to a parking deck right across from the Walt Disney Music Hall.
In downtown LA.
Which
Yep.
I feel like, don't you have to like license to be able to like film certain buildings?
That's
Something
what-
tells me.
Yeah, I thought so.
There's no way. It's a pretty iconic.
I mean, it might be maybe downtown LA is just easy to get a permit or something, or someone owed someone a favor. Maybe.
You wait late enough, and
I don't know.
suddenly- So then they have a fight. He's losing a little bit.
Yeah.
At some point, his son shouts to him loud enough that he can hear still in the
Yeah, yeah.
game. So he gets some slight magic powers.
Yeah, he's got
Um,
like light mad powers and stuff.
Mohawk shows back up and helps
Yeah.
him fight,
The virus, yeah.
but is quickly dispatched.
Yep.
And then, I mean, basically, in the end, he just beats the hell out of her.
That's it. And then like the battery dies. It's supposed to be suspenseful because he's in there. The battery dies, which I guess means he dies
Yeah.
too. Because if you're wearing a bike helmet,
They never plugged it back
the
in. But
battery-
they never even tried to plug
right?
it back in.
They could have just done that.
Um,
But he wins, and then it's like
he gets out, but before he does, one
Yeah.
last kiss to White Dragon.
again,
She shows
who's
back up.
not, Yeah,
It's not Sally.
Whose real analog is in the real world watching all of
This whole
yeah.
thing.
She likes
Um,
it.
And then boom, he pops out of the game. He's there face to face with Sally, who is the White Dragon, and it's
Yeah,
love at first sight. I think because he's already had sex
in the
with her
game.
virtual counterpart
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah, and we also don't know. And she's the virtual counterpart's not pregnant. We don't know. He has no idea of Sally
Yeah.
because it's impossible to tell her age.
Mhm.
He doesn't know.
And this is when we find out that it's only 7:15. And all of this is still on the night of Brad's birthday
It's been
party.
like an hour and a half since that martial arts tournament in Reseda or whatever.
Yeah.
In the hotel, it's been like an hour 20-hour thing.
Yeah. And then it cuts to the dojo.
Yep.
Don the Dragon gives a monologue to a bunch of the kids again that has nothing to do with anything that happened in the movie, not even thematically.
No.
It's just something about like stepping forward.
Just not being afraid or something.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
And then it goes 1 year later,
Yep.
back in Vegas, but Don isn't competing.
It's his son.
It's his son.
But it's like very dancey.
Yeah, it's very dancey.
It's like
showy.
choreographed. It has like similar kind of flair to like what you would think of as like backup dancer
Mhm.
moves. I
Yeah.
would describe odd.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to make of it.
But it was good enough to impress Grandpa.
Oh,
Don,
Grandpa loved
and
it.
the woman on his arm.
That's right.
Sally's there.
Sally.
She finally got what she wanted. The
Yeah.
man that she had in her mind already determined that she would be with despite knowing nothing about.
Yeah, she fell in love with him just looking at him being strapped into a helmet, comatose on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell in love with her through her computer program counterpart who can't get pregnant no matter where he dumps his seed.
Yeah, which I would say is the most ideal circumstances to fall in
Yes.
love with anyone.
Mhm.
And it ends with a happy ending, question mark?
Yeah, because Scorpion comes back. or
It's not Scorpion.
Sorry. The virus. The virus pops up on the screen from like a weird low angle with like time lapse storm clouds behind her, and is like, "I'm gonna take over the whole world."
Does
now."
anyone else want to play?
Yeah,
She says
yeah.
on the machine
It's
in the
like, just fucking
laboratory
throw
1
the-
year later.
Why a year? Why'd she wait 1 year exactly?
I don't know. And the laboratory is exactly the same. They didn't
Yeah.
upgrade any of the equipment.
Yeah,
So yeah, boom. It ends.
there it is.
Roll credits.
Trust is the glue.
We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back with our final thoughts. All right, Patrick.
Yes.
We have a little bit of post-mortem to do on this film.
Yeah.
We of course we do this every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Physique critique.
Physique critique. Let's hear it. Who do you want to critique? Because we got a few. Don the Dragon Wilson is pretty clothed the whole time. I think your best bets are
Gokor?
Gokor.
Well, he's covered head to toe.
Oh, that's right. Who is the muscle
I mean,
man
the
on the beach?
Mohawk. There's two muscle.
Let's talk
there's
Mohawk guy.
Mohawk. So that's
And
the
Grandpa.
question. That's a great question because in physique critique,
Mhm.
are we judging all the physiques across the board against each other, or only do we just pick one?
I think who is the best, and in general, does this movie stack up?
Okay, great. Okay, Mohawk, great physique,
Beautiful.
great size,
And totally natty.
yeah. You don't get a big old belly like that. But no, he's huge. He looks
He's
like a pro
gigantic.
wrestler. I'm sure
Yeah.
if we looked him up, we'd probably see that he was a pro wrestler or whatever. Roided out of his gourd.
Oh, yeah.
I love the spikies on the top of his head.
It was funny that they put that in there. Like, how about a guy who just has spikes? Because it's a video game character.
Yeah.
Everyone else, they're like, how about just a guy?
Can you bring your own gi?
Yeah.
That's basically what it said on the call sheet. Can
One
you
of the-
bring your own gi?
One of the guys is very visibly balding
Yeah.
and has very long hair. He's also there he's like one of the parents in the martial arts competition in the beginning or something.
There's
I'm sure
one,
he's some legend in.
there's
you know.
one guy that I'm pretty sure they use 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
They just put him in different ski
Yep.
masks. So yeah, big guy. I would say big guy is definitely like an 8 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
He's way up there.
Yeah.
But then we have to acknowledge the fact that Don the Dragon, one of the greatest American kickboxers of all
Mhm.
time, you would never know.
No.
You would never know.
There's
If they said
nothing about
he
this.
wrote and directed this film and he was a real estate agent, this was a passion project, and
Yeah.
it became this joke that this guy who doesn't know martial arts made himself a martial arts star, I would believe you because he doesn't
Yeah.
do anything in this. He doesn't look impressive at all. So overall, the score of this.
The fights are so slow.
Sally, though, Cynthia Rothrock, looks pretty jacked.
Yeah, she's big.
She's pretty jacked,
She
though.
is, yeah.
So overall, I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty
maybe
good
not,
score.
Maybe not as good as it could be
No.
for a martial arts heavy movie.
Yeah.
But I would also argue there's not a lot of martial
And
arts. in
Lorenzo
this movie,
Lamas, he
so
could have popped it off at some
He
point.
could have,
you know.
yeah. Come on.
But we also, I don't think there are any chase scenes in this film, are there?
Not really. I mean,
I don't think
the
so.
closest thing would be the sun running in weird circles and
Yeah, no one.
reappearing, but
I would
it's not
say
a
no one,
chase.
other than her running across the lake.
Yeah, that's it.
There's really no one hits more
movement.
than
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah.
4 miles an hour
No.
in this whole film.
No.
So we don't really have any chase scenes to judge. Overall,
Mhm.
this is your thoughts. You're coming back to this film after some time.
Yeah. I think it was better when I was really high off of not great
Whippets?
weed, pretty
Oh.
bad weed, and maybe some whippets. Yeah, maybe, quite possibly.
Uh-huh.
And I was a little better sitting there stoned watching this garbage, but I still think it held. Like, it was still a pretty funny piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah. It reminded me of the kind of stuff that like you'd make in college
Mhm.
a lot, where it's just like, just find a new location and do a thing. Who cares
Yeah.
about establishing? We'll figure a lot out in post.
Yeah.
In fact, Dan and I,
Mhm.
Dan Schneider, who works at Funhaus with us, he and I made a short film, a student film, remarkably similar to this,
Yeah.
about being in a video game.
Yeah.
The conceit that it was all in a video game. So we filmed interstitials, kind of like Princess Bride, of
Yeah, yeah.
2 roommates that were putting a game cartridge in and taking
Mhm.
turns doing it, and then it would go into the game, and it was a guy who was a samurai going and fighting different bosses.
Yeah.
But it was the exact same, where it was like, all right, now let's go to the disc golf course.
Yeah, yeah.
Now let's go to the quad, and you just film the thing and then figure it all out.
Yep.
That's what this feels like, with maybe a lower budget
Very low
and
budget.
maybe worse
Yeah.
direction. somehow?
I think my main thing with this is the nostalgia. Not even like the nostalgia of me watching this when I was younger, but that era, because it is really the last era of like this type of movie that had any charm or soul in
Mhm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a great example of either of those things, but it is like it still feels like someone tried to make a movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the last era of like, hey, we have this guy. He's a great kickboxer, so surely
Maybe he can bring something to this, or
he's gonna be good in this movie.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have that anymore.
No,
I don't know.
think so.
I will say also, I did want to say, very few lines in this movie are done well.
Oh yeah.
Almost every line, there's like a pause where a line was or a word was either forgotten
Mhm.
briefly or like stumbled on, and it's all in the movie.
I wonder.
Take one every time.
I wonder if it's line reads too. Like, I wonder. A lot of times, stuff like this happens where you're like, I don't understand.
Mhm.
They speak English. What is going
Yeah.
on? But sometimes it's because the director goes, "Say it like I'm saying it."
Oh yeah,
Like,
which
say
is
it
not-
like
that's
I'm saying it, and the
etiquette, right?
director doesn't
Yeah.
know how to speak very well.
Oh sure.
But who's to say? Who's to say?
don't know.
It could just be everyone is confused. They didn't know how they got there or why
Yeah.
they were there.
If you want to watch a Don the Dragon Wilson movie, Night Hunter.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right.
It's about vampires. There's also if you want to Lorenzo Lamas, check out the Snake Eater trilogy, which I think
3 of them, huh?
I think we might have to watch the first one eventually.
All right,
it's
well,
pretty good.
put it on the list.
Yeah.
We got a huge list building. Ultimately, do you recommend this film, Patrick?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
same.
Might be more of a background watch
For
while
sure.
you do something, a puzzle or
Every
whatever.
once in a while, people socializing, they turn, what's going on now? Oh, he's doing this fight or whatever.
I think for me, a lot of the line delivery is what makes this movie very funny, like the grandpa. And also it's maybe more one to watch with and clown on with friends.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So that concludes Sci Fighter, aka Extreme Fighter.
Not sure which.
Not sure which.
That's
Sci
right.
Fighter makes more sense because that's the name of the game that the
Right.
grandpa made.
There's nothing particularly extreme about, because I'm thinking snowboarding or something if I hear that. There's none of that.
No, there's none of that in there. So we're gonna call it Sci Fighter. We're gonna make that call. We've got another episode coming up in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, we do.
We've picked one, Patrick. What are we watching next time?
We are watching. What are we watching?
1987's The Barbarian.
Oh, yes.
Starring the Barbarian Brothers.
We will be watching The Barbarian starring the Barbarian Brothers.
This is the film. You don't want to miss this one because this is the film that basically inspired this podcast.
Yeah, this is the one that we were like,
How can we
This
make
is-
an
yeah.
excuse to watch this movie?
yes.
If you aren't familiar with this, do only the lightest amount of research into the Barbarian Brothers.
Yep.
The greatest sensation that never was. We're going to have a good time watching that.
Seems like they really tried to
well,
get them going.
We'll find out for
Just didn't-
certain
yeah.
next time on Trash for Trash.
See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna rise to the top.